Right then guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the GolfMagic YouTube channel. Now today you join me at Mannings Heath Golf and Wine Estate for a wedge comparison video. I haven't really done that many wedge comparison videos, but I think I should do a lot more because they're a very important club in everyone's bags. Now last week, Callaway released this club here, the Jaws Full Toe Wedge. And I really liked it, I really did. It has two different finishes, it has this black finish and also the chrome finish, and I got along really well with it from chip shots to full shots. It was a very good club. But can it replace my gamer? This one here, the TaylorMade High Toe Raw Bigfoot Wedge. This came out at the start of 2021. I was a big fan of it and I've actually got this in the 52, 56 and a 60. Today, I'm going to take these two through their paces. I'm going to do some chip shots and bunker shots, maybe some 50 or 60 yard shots and see the differences. But talking about design first of all, they are both full toe wedges, but there are some little differences. I've got the 60 degree in both, and the high toe wedge for the TaylorMade is a lot wider of a sole. You can see it literally says wide, 15 degrees of bounce in comparison to Callaway, 10 degrees of bounce. That's the main difference you can see here. And you can see with that sole difference as well, that little marking that TaylorMade has, it is very notable. But the more important thing is how it looks down at address. With both of these clubs being raw, it will rust over time. And with this 60 degree wedge, as I have used it for just under a year now, it has rusted very nicely. But when you look down at address it, the Callaway does actually look a little bit worse in terms of the aesthetic point of view. I feel like that pear drop design is a little bit more professional in the TaylorMade, whereas you can see the Callaway does still have remnants of that PM grind finish. So for me, I do prefer the TaylorMade. But then again, when I'm talking about the actual finish of the club, the black finish of the Callaway does look a lot nicer. I do think that it'll be interesting to see how it rusts over time, but it is quite even Stevens for design. They've both got positives and negatives. Let's hit some shots now with this 60 degree wedge. I'm gonna go in the rough and I'm gonna go in the fairway as well. I'm expecting a decent amount of spin here. They do have different shafts in them. This one here, the Callaway, has the dynamic gold spinner shaft, whereas the TaylorMade has the KBS high rev shaft. I'm expecting some interesting results here, but it's very important to talk about the feel of the club. So let's hit some chip shots and see how I get on. Right, so I've got the TaylorMade to begin with. You would expect maybe with the wider sole with 15 degrees of bounce, it offer a little bit more versatility with different types of lies. But I have used the Callaway and that may not be the case. So let's just hit a few very little chip shots. It's a 60 degree wedge and see how it gets on for feel. I don't think 60 degrees is the club for this, this shot. That one there, I did hit out of the toe. Didn't really feel like that. That is because of those high toe wedges, the full face of grooves. Very nice. It is a very versatile club for 60 degrees. It's the exact club you would want in the bag, this TaylorMade club. Would I recommend it to an amateur or professional golfer with all high toe wedges? I would probably recommend them towards that higher handicapper player, just because I feel that we do struggle hitting it out the center of the club face every single time. And when we do go a little bit steep on it, like I can just do now, ended up very nicely there. Did hit it, yep, did hit it right on the grooves of the club onto the toe, but it ended up about 4 foot away. So really full marks for the TaylorMade one. It is extremely versatile. Even though I put it in the rough here, which is quite thick, it's into the grain, may not be the easiest. That wide sole should really help you get over it and just try and do quite a good shot. Isn't too bad there, around a little bit, but that's just because I'm not very good at golf. Let's hit one more and then move on to the Callaway. Yeah, not bad. No spin out of this rough, but that was, for me, that's full marks. My short game's pretty dreadful, but I take quite a lot of those. Let's move on to the Callaway. So the Callaway, although the actual design of the club down at address, for me, isn't as strong as the TaylorMade. The finish kind of negates that, and I do feel very, very confident. That high toe, I think it's a little bit higher than the TaylorMade, although this could just be a visual thing, makes it feel like I'm going to hit a pretty decent shot every single time. I've got that spinner shot pretty confidently in my locker here, and for a 10-yard shot or so with a 60 degree wedge, something that professional golfers apart from Phil Mickelson would shudder at, I feel like I'm going to do pretty well most of the time here. The question is it as versatile as the TaylorMade with having a little bit less bounce, a little bit more narrow of a sole? I do think so, but if I had to really be quite specific in this video, which I think I should be for a comparison, I would say the TaylorMade, from initial comparisons here, would be a little bit more versatile for different types of shots. Doesn't mean that the Callaway is bad, but I would say for the high handicap player, for these types of shots around the green, I would just favour the TaylorMade. Me personally, it's very 50-50. I'm really not sure. Let's move back a little bit and see how I get on now from about 30 yards or so, because so far there's not too much between them. Right, so I'm about 40 yards away now. This is a difficult shot. If you haven't seen my Callaway wedge review video, this was quite difficult, but I got quite a lot of spin. So I've got the 60 degree now to get a little bit more height and a little bit more different types of shots, because I could just do a low spinner, I could flight it in, land it on the front of the green. There's a few different types of shots. So let's see how the Callaway gets on and then compare it to the TaylorMade from about 40 yards. Now, Callaway said that with their new high toe, it's a little bit easier to hit full shots. And this would kind of quantify as something that is a little bit more of a pitch rather than a chip. And I found in the review that is the case. It is a lot simpler, a lot straightforward, a very smooth club from these types of shots. Again, pretty decent there, just caught the downslope. I do feel very, very comfortable with the Callaway. I don't know why, because I wish the TaylorMade is my gamer. It could be a honeymoon period, but it's a very buttery feel when you hit it with a premium golf ball. I would always recommend you guys, when you're trying wedges out, to hit it with a 3-piece or 4-piece golf ball rather than a range ball. You will notice a significant difference. But let's just hit a few more and move on to the TaylorMade. Should be good. Yeah, not getting as much spin out of here. It could partly be down to the greens just being sanded, but that's still a pretty decent shot, about 6 foot away. Let's now move on to the TaylorMade. All right, so I've now got the TaylorMade in 60 degrees here with the KBS High Tall Rev shaft. Should be pretty easy to actually beat the Callaway here in terms of the dispersion I've got, but whether it beats the feel and actual performance from my point of view is down to me to decide. That's a good start. You can see there, comparison to the actual chip shots, that one got a little bit of grab on the first bounce, which is good to see. In all honesty, if I'm actually thinking about the difference in feel so far, there's not much difference. Come on. Yeah, that's okay. They're not the best shot, but as I said, they do feel very similar. The only difference is with that KBS shaft, it does feel a little bit heavier, perhaps a little bit more heavier around the whole club itself, not more head heavy, but it feels a little bit more like a metronome when I'm swinging it. You can feel the sole being wider on the TaylorMade club. Now this isn't a problem, but even down at address when I'm looking at it, perhaps on the fairway I wouldn't prefer that. I would prefer the Callaway with 10 degrees of bounce and slightly narrower of a sole. When you're doing it out of the rough, let's say, maybe I prefer the TaylorMade. Yep, not bad. This is quite a difficult shot, but I'm hitting it quite well here. So far, if I'm honest, I'm hitting these shots from the fairway. I'm not noticing that much difference between these two. Let's now finish off in the bunker, where I think perhaps this high toe wedge from the TaylorMade will actually help quite significantly. Right, so I'm in a bunker now. I've got about 15 yards or so, and this is where I do actually feel like the TaylorMade with that wide sole will really come into its element. I am a bad bunker player, so this will be quite interesting, but I've got a little bit of green to work with, so technically, for everyone watching, you must be thinking this is quite an easy shot. I will show you that may not be the case, but hopefully these two clubs will save me. Okay, well, maybe I am a good bunker player. That was actually really good. You can really feel that sole, that impact out of this TaylorMade club, and it is very pleasing. I think I hit that slightly out of the toe, yeah, slightly out of the toe there, but it felt like a very good contact. Yeah, that was really nice. That was really nice, wow. You can see there, it's just a smooth swing, and it's just that thump, that wide sole really going onto the sand here. It does perform very well, and it's getting a little bit of spin as well, which I'm actually really surprised by, because not the cleanest of grooves, you wouldn't really expect that. Maybe I am really good at bunkers. Those are 3 really good shots. And that one, I don't know if you guys saw there, I hope you guys did, you probably could hear it as well. Not that much sound, so the sole really did bounce up off that one, which is why it went a little bit lower and actually grabbed very quickly as well. Let's hit one more, then see if the Callaway can compete with this one. A bit on the chunky side, that one, but again, I got it out, I got some loft, And I think a lot of people watching out of those 4 balls will actually take them, because I should get three of them, 2 to 3 of them up and down, which is pretty much tour standard. Let's move on now to the Callaway. Let's move on to the one with the narrower sole and see if I can do just as well as the TaylorMade. Yep, so I've now got the Callaway in the high toe 60 degree. I think, again, with the confidence factor and that mental feel looking down with this nice finish, I do think I am going to hit it quite well, but those TaylorMade, those results, thumping the turf with that wide sole, it really does perform. Okay, well, so does the Callaway. A little bit lower of a flight, a lot of check on that one in comparison to the TaylorMade. A good thump on the sand too, which is what you want. Very confident. They're both very good clubs in terms of getting that confidence builder. Another good one, another good one. These were really performing very well for me so far. I thought, as I said at the start of this practice session with the bunkers, that this would actually be the worst part of my game here, but it's actually been those pitch shots that have been the worst, something that I actually pride myself on, those little 50-yard shots. And it really does show that the versatility of both of these clubs are pretty unmatched. And I think you guys and myself watching this video will be looking at it being like, is there that much difference between them? And so far, I'm not too sure. Oh, that's a good shot. That's a really good shot. Got a lot of thump of the sand there. You can see, looking at my sand distribution just from that, the perfect path. I really can feel the sole, similar to the TaylorMade shot, thump on it. You can tell, I know being a slightly lower handicap, maybe people with a higher handicap can't tell the difference between those wide and those narrow soles. But when I'm hitting it here in the sand, I can feel it. But the performance and the results that you guys can see on the other camera, it's not too different. Oh, that's a really good shot. I'm gonna grab, it is. Right, 2 very impressive clubs I've tried hitting. 2 very good results from bunkers to pitch and chip shots. Let's talk about it now and give my final verdict on these 2 wedges. Well then, that brings me to the end of this video where I guess I have to give a winner between the TaylorMade and the Callaway. What are my thoughts? Well, I'm pretty sure you guys can tell that for me, there's not actually too much between them. For a player, well, I consider myself a pretty decent player about 50% of the time, and I hit some pretty decent shots here today. I feel like I can tell the difference between one wedge and another wedge, and I've said I can, mainly because that wide sole that I've mentioned many times in this video. But in terms of feel, they both feel quite similar. They are both very, very strong wedges, very smooth, very buttery, and there's not actually too much between them. I think the main thing here is how you feel when you look down at the club with that design. I've said that I do prefer the TaylorMade's shaping, but I prefer the Callaway's finish. And that's pretty much it. They do have some different shafts in them. I say the TaylorMade feels a little bit heavier in terms of the swing weight. So if you want to have a little bit lighter of a wedge, I would probably go for the Callaway. But other than that, there's not too much between them. And that is quite difficult because you're watching this video and you want to know the difference between them. For me, in all honesty, it's just down to personal preference and what you guys prefer. I think if you are a higher handicap player, if you are off 30, 36, I would think that wider sole would be for you. But then if you're in the States with someone who has a lot of hot weather, maybe look into it a little bit more, because having a lot of bounce, playing off fairways, rough, that isn't that soft. You need to look into the bounce a little bit more, and there's a lot on that on golfmagic.com, because people don't realize how important custom fitting is for wedges. Both come in at a very similar price, so it's not really a price factor, it's just what you guys think if you want to buy them. So if you are watching this video to think I'm going to purchase a wedge based on what my opinion is, don't do that. Head down to your local driving range, your local pro shop, and try both of these out, because you guys need to determine that for yourself. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video today. It's not often that I kind of call it a draw between 2 clubs, but I'm afraid I am doing that today. But it's almost a draw in a good way, because they are both very strong wedges. If you guys did enjoy this video today, leave a like down below and let me know what you guys think in terms of wedge comparisons. Do you guys prefer getting some data up at a launch motor, or do you really prefer this kind of feel basis? Let me know down in the comments. If you guys are new to the GolfMagic YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button down below so you can keep up to date with all of our videos, from wedge comparisons, reviews, you name it, we've got it to keep you guys entertained for all of 2021. Myself, TaylorMade and Callaway, we'll see you guys at the next video.